Miami going to College Station to play Texas A&M. Texas A&M, if you remember correctly, dropped a game last week at home against Appalachian State. They're favored by 5 in this game. This is a 9 Eastern kick, so 8 Central for the folks in College Station at Kyle Field. We're going to learn a lot about both teams. I'll get to more of that later in this prediction segment, but we're going to learn a lot about both teams in this game. So Miami, they're 5-point dogs. How do they go about winning this game? I think Appalachian State provided the blueprint. I think Appalachian State showed you, hey, if you can be consistently physical, which is the theme across any college football game, but especially with what A&M has, you have a chance to win the game. Now, Miami has 2 backs that I'm really excited to watch, Henry Parrish and Thaddeus Franklin. Thaddeus Franklin is a big boy, something like 6 foot 240. If they can feed them, allow them to be the 1-2 punch, have that combo that just wears down this A&M front 7, advantage Miami. That's what they're going to want to do. If they can be consistently physical and just wear them down like some rapids over water, that would be the game plan for Miami. Now, in addition to that, you got to be able to limit the spark plays on defense because A&M has a lot of what I like to call powder keg kind of players. We haven't seen it just yet, but they're there. Anais Smith, all it takes is a spark for that powder keg to go off. Evan Stewart, if he gets even just a little bit of a flame, powder keg goes off. We haven't seen it just yet. It's not something that they've put on tape a ton, but believe you me, if those sparks start flying, if they can get going just a little bit, it's going to make for some explosive plays. Mario Cristobal said it this week. They've got guys that are legitimately scary fast, track fast, legit times. Devon Achane, one of those guys. If they get going, if they get a crease, if they find something they like, it's going to be a long day for Miami. So limit those spark plays. Don't allow those powder kegs to get any room for air. At the end of the day, my question for Miami is, can Tyler Van Dyke win the game for you? When you ask Tyler Van Dyke to put you on his back, whether it's a game-winning drive, whether it's end of the half, whatever it is, Tyler, we need this from you to win the game. Is he able to do that? I think he's capable. I'm very curious to see in a road environment like this what his response is and what this Miami as a team response is. James Williams, another guy that you got to watch in this game, 6'5", 2-something. He's playing safety. He's going to be a big part of what they do on defense as well. So that's sort of the summation for Miami. Limit the spark plays, be able to be the more consistently physical team. At the end of the day, when TVD has the rock and a chance to win the football game, can he do it? Remains to be seen. For Texas A&M, obviously kind of licking their wounds a little bit from last week against Appalachian State. If it is Haynes King, which at this point in time, it is Haynes King, Jimbo said we'll reassess. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed that game time, but for right now, it is Haynes King. Can you manage him? Can you manage Haynes King? Can you give him quick throws? Can you get him going in the run game? What can you do to help him out? Because I understand it's not 100% on him, but what he can control, I haven't seen him control effectively. Can he be better when it comes to making decisions? Can he be better in terms of moving the offense? Whatever you're doing right now, it ain't working. Whatever you have on his plate right now, he's not liking. I don't know what exactly you got to do differently, but I think it has to start with getting him more comfortable because he does not look comfortable in this offense. Whether it's too much to process, whether it's something that doesn't play to his skill set, you got to be malleable. Got to be malleable and got to play to your quarterback. Because if you want to turn it over, like we've seen him do in the past, turnover equals game over. If Texas A&M turns the ball over twice in this game, I don't think they win. That's sort of the stat for me that I would take home to my mom and say, Mom, they turned it over twice. She says that makes sense why they lost the football game. And I love my mother dearly. For A&M as well, I think you need to be honest. You need to be honest because you've said for a while now, hey, we want to be a team that throws the ball downfield. We want to be explosive. Mario Cristobal is worried about that. He's already said it. They got some guys that can run. You want to be a team that goes downfield? Okay, well, 1, let's dial it up some more. Let's try and push the ball downfield more. 2, you believe you have a quarterback that can do that. I have my own reservations, like I've mentioned, Men lie, women lie, tape don't lie, and he hasn't done it well on tape consistently, so we'll see. But if you want to really challenge downfield, well, let's see it. In this game, let's see it. Because that front seven from Miami has been stingy so far. I haven't really played anybody, but they've been stingy to this point. You're going to have explosive plays to beat Miami. That's just the fact of the matter. You got the guys to do it. You got the guys that can pop the top. Do you have the quarterback to do it? Even more so, do you have the gumption to where when it is 2nd and 1, you're going to go ahead and dial it up? When it's time to call a shot, will you call a shot? I'm fascinated by that. Remains to be seen. Haynes King still got to pull the trigger on those deep passes, but show me that you are who you say you want to be. At the end of the day, for both of these programs, it is gut check time for different reasons. For Miami, they're a team that is trying to ascend to the top tier of college football. They want to get Miami back to being the U. Well, how do you do that? Starts with games like this. Starts with games where you go into College Station at Kyle Field in one of the most insane atmospheres in the country, and you silence them and you win that game. That's how you take a step towards becoming elite. This is a stepping stone. Can you take that next step? That's why it's gut check time for Miami. For Texas A&M, you're licking your wounds. Just got a knockout punch handed to you from App State. How much pride's in that locker room? How much does it mean to you to be at Texas A&M to play for that program? How much pride is there in-house? Because now we're going to get to see. It's easy to talk all offseason. It's easy to speculate and talk about the talent you have on your roster, and don't get it twisted. They have talent at A&M. But now that you've been knocked down, got embarrassed, how do you respond? Are you going to start pointing fingers and sort of collapse and say, all right, let's pack it in. We're not playing for a national championship this year? Or do you, again, get together, figure out the problems, dry erase what happened last week, and go forward? I think that'll tell us a lot about A&M. I think it'll also tell us a lot about how far this culture is under Jimbo Fisher. I believe it's solid, but I don't know exactly what we're going to get this coming Saturday when a really good Miami team does come to town. So our prediction for this game, at the end of the day, I think Miami just has more consistent quarterback play. If A&M wants to switch it up, maybe it's a different story. But if you're playing Haynes King, I have a hard time picking the Aggies. So much talent, so much ability. Even on defense, they're solid. Only allowed 17 points last week, and they were on the field for 41 minutes of the game. With that being said, if you're going to turn it over and be inconsistent at quarterback and be inconsistent on offense against a good Miami defense, I don't know what to tell you. So do they test that secondary and try and capitalize on some potential weaknesses we saw last week against Southern Miss? You would hope so. But I haven't seen anything at quarterback to give me confidence. So what it comes down to, I like TVD better than Haynes King. And I think Haynes King ultimately is the one that kind of holds them back a little bit from what they're able to do offensively and scoring points. So I like Miami to go into Kyle Field and win this game in a tight one, 24-17. That would be huge. That would be huge for this Miami program. Think about what that does for recruiting. Because that's been the knock on Miami, kind of similar to Texas. There's been conversations about their toughness and their culture and what they're capable of versus what they actually do. For recruiting, to walk into a kid's living room and say, you turn that game on against A&M, you see us play on a national stage, you see what we did to that team with all those talented 5 stars and all the ability they have and their phenomenal coaching staff, their great head coach, Jimbo Fisher, who does have some jewelry. You see what we did? Come play for Miami. That's what we're going to do. That's going to be us. It's going to be our calling card. That would be a very big deal for Miami if they're able to get that done going forward. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.